وأثني عليك وأتوكل عليك وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك وأستهديك وأسترشدك وأستلهمك وأستزيدك فأنت حسبي وأنت سندي وأنت عمادي وأنت أولي وأنت آخري وأنت ظاهري وأنت باطني وأنت لي نعم المولى ونعم النصير. وأستغفر الله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلن تجد له وليا مرشدا. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، إله واحد، إله أحد، إله موحد، إله وحيد، إله فرد، إله مفرد، إله متفرد، إله منفرد، إله فريد، إله حي، إله قيوم، إله أبدي، إله أزلي، إله دهري، إله ديمومي، إله سرمدي، إله وتر، إله صمد، إله لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. إله هو الأول فلا شيء قبله، وهو الآخر فلا شيء بعده، وهو الظاهر فلا شيء فوقه، وهو الباطن فلا شيء دونه. إله قادر، إله قدير، إله مقتدر، إله هو أقدر القادرين، إله قاهر، إله قهار، إله لا يقهر، إله هو أقهر القاهرين، إله عالم، إله علام الغيوب، إله عليم بذات الصدور، إله هو عالم العالمين، إله حي قبل كل حي، وحي بعد كل حي، وحي بعد كل ميت، وحي لم يستمد حياته من حي، حي يحيي كل حي، حي يميت كل حي، حي يبعث كل ميت، حي لن يموت أبدا. كل من عليها فان ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام. وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا ومولانا ووسيلتنا إلى ربنا وغاية رغبتنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على هذا النبي الكريم وعلى آله وصحابته ومن نهج نهجهم وسلك مسلكهم واهتدى بهديهم واستنى بسنتهم واستمسك بعروتهم واسترشد برشدهم ودعا بدعوتهم وعمل بعملهم واهتمى بهماهم وتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فيقول الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم تنزيله في سورة الإسراء: وكل إنسان ألزمناه طائره في عنقه ونخرج له يوم القيامة كتابا يلقاه منشورا اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى وما كنا معذبين حتى نبعث رسولا وإذا أردنا أن نهلك قرية أمرنا مترفيها ففسقوا فيها فحق عليها القول فدمرناها تدميرا. الإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين صدق الله العظيم. I seek refuge in the Almighty Allah against Shaitan they are called, and I want to start as usual in the name of the Almighty Allah, the most gracious God. Praise be to the Almighty Allah. Praise be to the Almighty Allah. Praise be to the Almighty Allah. We thank the Almighty Allah. We praise the Almighty Allah. We recognize the Almighty Allah. We appreciate the Almighty Allah. We acknowledge the Almighty Allah. We salute the Almighty Allah. We commend the Almighty Allah. We adore the Almighty Allah. We worship the Almighty Allah. We magnify the Almighty Allah. We glorify the Almighty Allah. We do all that because essentially and basically that's our primary assignment. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونِ. The purpose of our creation. We bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except the Almighty Allah. Allah is the first, Allah is the last. The Almighty Allah is the beginning, the Almighty Allah is the end. Allah is the first without any starting point. The Almighty Allah is the end without any point of termination. Every individual has a point of commencement, is your date of birth. Allah hasn't any date of commencement. And because He has no date of commencement, He doesn't have any date of termination. And it is because we have a date of commencement, starting point, that is why we have a point at which our life will be terminated. The kingdom of the Almighty Allah shall never be terminated. We shower blessings on the soul of our Holy Prophet Muhammad, who dedicated the whole of his life for the emancipation and salvation of mankind. May the blessings of the Almighty Allah be extended to his relatives, his companions, and to all those who will live from their way of life. May the blessings of the Almighty Allah be extended to each and every one of us here today. Let me first congratulate our new intakes, new students. We have been waiting for them for long. And that was why the first in the series of our orientation khutbah took a long time before it started. We were waiting for the second list to be released. And we hope that by now they have been released and you are all here. A fortnight ago, and that is the beginning of today's khutbah, a fortnight ago, Professor Ahmad Sheikh Abdul Salam took us through the need for daily Muslims to stand by their promises and ensure their fulfillment. Professor Ahmad Sheikh Abdul Salam is one of the deputy imams. Just last week, another deputy imam, Professor Yahya Imam, presented the first in the series of our orientation khutbah, which is designed for you students, particularly our new students at both the 100 and 200 levels. That presentation was anchored, that is the presentation of last week, was anchored on the admonitions of Luqman to his son. Today's khutbah, and I want you to pay attention, today's khutbah is entitled Social Vices, Effects of Social Vices on Students and the Way Forward. What are social vices? What are the consequences of social vices? How can we salvage the situation? The topic is not our own making, it's not the making of the Imam, and it's not the making of the deputy Imams. The topic is at the instance of the Unilorin chapter of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria. From next week, inshallah, we shall, just as Professor Imam started the series of the orientation khutbah last week, we shall continue with our own original series of khutbah. This one is at the instance of the Unilorin chapter of the MSSN. By the end of today's presentation, it is expected that we should all be able to identify some selected social vices that are common in our environment. 2, we should all be able to state the meaning of these vices. 3, we should be able to explain the effects of the vices, particularly on students. The 4th objective is to highlight Quranic and prophetic citations that are related to the vices. And of course, we will conclude and we will make recommendations, which I told you that as we move from one step to the other, you should be able to be drawing conclusions. According to the new edition of the Luqman Dictionary of Contemporary English for Advanced Learners 2009, there are 3 possible entries for the word vice. 3 possible entries. The first of these entries signifies criminal activities involving sex and drugs. Social vices are criminal activities. I'm repeating so that you try to guide yourself to refrain, because you may not know that they are criminal activities. In today's khutbah, I want to sensitize you to activities that are criminal. You get involved in them without knowing. Today you should know. And if you keep involving yourself in them after today's khutbah, then definitely you are a companion of Jahannam. God forbid. That is the first entry. The second entry defines a vice as a bad habit. Any bad habit in which an individual engages is a social vice. I hope we are together. So a social vice could be a criminal activity involving sex, boyfriend and girlfriend. Social vice could also be a bad habit. It may not necessarily be criminal, but once it is a habit that is bad, it becomes a social vice. That is the second entry. The third entry and final describes a vice as an immoral quality in a person. This entry also defines a vice as a bad behavior or an immoral behavior. At the end of the 3 entries, the dictionary adds that the opposite of vice is what? The opposite of vice is what? It's part of what you should know from today's program. That the opposite of vice is virtue. Virtue is virtue. In summary, the word vice signifies a criminal activity. It signifies a bad habit or an immoral behavior. Within the context of our environment, and bearing in mind that the Islamic background and orientation is there behind every one of us, we are bearing these two things in mind: our environment and the fact that every one of us here is an assumption, has come from an Islamic background. We have an Islamic orientation. And so, within this context and understanding, social vices consist of all habits, behaviors, attitudes, activities, or dispositions that violate the injunctions of the Almighty Allah. Particularly those injunctions that border on the welfare of individuals and a society. These injunctions are contained in the glorious Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In specific terms, vices include, please pay attention, this is the purpose of today's khutbah, sensitizing you to selected vices that you may not be aware of, that you may trivialize, but before the Almighty Allah in the Sharia, it is very, very important. The first item of social vices here is the act of lying. Telling lies, deliberately giving false information to cause confusion and to mislead the people and make a personal gain. In Islam, the Prophet ﷺ is reported to have said that إِذَا قُلْتَ لِوَلَدٍ تَعَالِ خُذْ مَعْنَهُ. If you tell a baby, a small child, a small boy, a small girl, that come and take, and the boy or the girl comes, and you have nothing to give him or her, you have lied. It will be written against you that you are a liar. You see the seriousness of that offense? You might be trivializing it. You know, made of no one. So lying, you don't play with lying. The second entry of the list of social vices that we may trivialize is what? The act of cheating. Violating rules in order to gain advantage. You want to pass an examination at all costs, and because of that you are cheating, and you are saying in English, cheating. The third entry here on our list of what? Social vices is the act of stealing. Stealing, illegally taking possession of something by secretly taking it away. It doesn't belong to you. You find one way or the other going about it, going around it, and you take it away. You are a thief. The fourth is the act of forgery, that is fraudulently altering a piece of writing or a signature in order to claim illegal rights. Time is not on our side. The fifth is the act of betting. Those of you who bet, there's a football match, you bet ahead of it that Chelsea and you can you and you get money at the end. In Islam, it is haram. Betting is haram. Betting is what? Haram. That is the benefit of today's program. to sensitize you to this level of them. Association, the next is the act of gambling. Gambling, playing risky games for monetary gain, such as casino games. Other vices are sex trafficking. Go to Yodo. If you want illustration, practical illustration, don't smile, don't laugh. It's unfortunate that there is an Arabic proverb that I say it every year that the worst of calamity is that which makes you laugh. There is a calamity. When you are facing a calamity, what do you shed tears? But at the peak of calamities, you don't go cry, you don't go shed tears. What do? You smile right. And the Yoruba have an equivalent. They say, or Toba Kaiwe, or Toba Kaiwe, Aishukuma, our friend. So, other vices are sex trafficking. I said, go to Google. Illegal sexual business. Girlfriending. I feel that. Well, it's out of Islam. It takes you out of the fold of Islam. Boyfriend is not our culture. It's not an Islamic culture. It's an alien culture. It was imported. It's an importation. It's an imported culture. So if you are deeply involved, please, as from today's khutbah, make sure you refrain from it. Is it funny? You are so neck deep in it that social vice is consumption of alcohol. I want to believe that there is no alcoholism among us. Drug trafficking, distribution of illegal drugs in order to feel high, to feel important, to feel higher than your actual level. Another is illegal sexual affair by unmarried person. We also have examination malpractice. We have cyber crime. And we have cultism involving killings and bloodshed of all kinds. Why do people engage in these vices? That's the next question. Why on earth should people engage in these vices? Generally, people engage in these vices for the purposes of making illegal money. You can see where it is applicable. If you steal, you want to make money. If you forge, you want to make illegal money. If you bet, that process is a process of making illegal money. Gambling is a process of making illegal money. Drug trafficking, process of illegal money making. People also engage in these vices for the purposes of selfishness, selfish gains, material gains, momentary body pleasure, undeserved success stories, and undeserved fame and popularity. Those who go into cultism go there in order to be popular, and particularly among girls. The boys want to be popular and to be famous among the girls. What are the consequences? These vices. What do they result in? That is against this. The consequences of vices and crimes are perilous and horrific. To start with, We should recall our initial definition of social vices as consisting of habits, behaviors, attitudes, activities, and dispositions that violate the injunctions of Allah. And of course, any action or reaction that contradicts the will of Allah results in what? Consequences now. Anything you do that is a violation of the injunctions of the Almighty Allah may result in any of the following: divine wrath. Divine wrath. Total destruction of the perpetrators. Total perdition for those who witness such activities without speaking against them. Failure of the perpetrators, regret of the perpetrators. And with particular reference to you students, if you, as a student body, engage in social vices, what could be the consequences? The answer is this. With particular reference to students, once they engage in any of the identified vices or other vices, they end up defeating the purpose of their admission into the university. The moment you as a student, the moment you engage in any of these vices, you defeat the purpose of your coming here. The reason why you are here is to make a scholar out of you. It's for you to become an erudite scholar. And so, instead of becoming distinguished erudite scholars, once you engage in these vices, you cease to become an erudite scholar. They graduate into becoming distinguished thieves of international records. Distinguished thieves of international records. They graduate into becoming notorious bad boys, and bad girls, and bad eggs. You graduate into becoming notorious thugs. You graduate into becoming notorious drug pushers. You graduate into becoming notorious sex barons and all sorts of unwanted elements. Once you get yourself involved, you can never become a scholar. Scholarship doesn't come to you, you wait for it. Not salutation, whatever. Say that العلم لا يعطيك نصفا حتى تعطيه كلك. Knowledge is not ready to give you half of itself. Half. You cannot acquire half knowledge until you give the totality of yourself to knowledge. All of yourself must be sacrificed in order for you to get half knowledge. So if you are the one that plays crowns, you go about at random, aimlessly, not knowing the purpose of your being in the university, you can never become a scholar. But may you all become scholars. Quranic verses, time is against us. We cannot go into Quranic verses. I have them here. About 5-6 quotations to back up what I have said. But let me summarize by saying that what is that? The moment the Almighty Allah desires to perish, to destroy a given nation, an ummah, we release our commandments, we release our divine decree. You see people engage in all kinds of vices. And at that point, seek forgiveness from the Almighty. Allah is ever ready to forgive them. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ojolo ti lọ yìí. Ojolo ó tún bá wa lẹ́nu. Àwọn ọmọ wa nínú ẹgbẹ́ NSSN ti University of Ilorin wọ́n tẹ̀lé tó wọlé báyìí. Wọ́n fẹ́ ká sọ̀rọ̀ nípa àwọn ìwà àgbàjẹ́ tí ń bẹ láwùjọ àti bó ṣe lè parí láàrin akẹ́kọ̀ọ́. Àwọn àgbẹ̀ orí àwọn kan kéékèèké tí ìjọ alójú ẹlòmíì ń parọ́ tí ò mọ́rọ́ sí nǹkan pé irọ́ kí wọ́n wà tẹ́ ẹ wọ́n ká parọ́ ni òun náà parọ́ ni tí ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ àti sọ fún wa pé téèyàn bá tan ọmọ kékeré náà pé ọmọ yìí wá gbà ọmọ náà wá dé iṣẹ́ fún ọmọ òdáhùn ó wá dé ó fẹ́ gbà kọ̀ wá fún nìkan kan àkọọ́lẹ̀ tí wà lọ́nà ọ̀nà ìgbà ní pé kò parọ́ fún wọn náà ẹ wò kí ni tó kágbàdàgbà ló máa parọ́ kó má sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe mọ̀ téèyàn máa ṣe ọdún tó lọ ìgbẹ́ká ló pọ̀ àwọn ìjọba pé nǹkan mẹ́rin náà lọ ojú ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ náà lọ. أربعة بعد الذنب شر من الذنب وبكفي الإمام جميله قال لي قال شو جميله إن كمان عندنا نقول تبغى بيان نسي كمان كمان ما هو كانوا ما يعني ومودي شيء يدام وهو كانوا ما تيجي في كويسة وجوه شيء يدام وكان يعني استسلام للذنب يعني أو ṣùgbọ́n bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìyá ẹ̀kú ṣé kí wọ́n ti ọ̀dà ni ṣé kí wọ́n ti fojú kéré rẹ̀ gbà òun ṣe ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ká ẹ̀sìn máa ń kó owó náà fún wọn làwọn ní ìyá ẹ̀sẹ̀ ó wà wọ̀. ẹ máa ń rẹ̀ sí i lọ́rùn. The vice chancellor lost his mother-in-law during the week. The Fidal prayer is fixed for Sunday, 11 December 2016. Time is 10 a.m. The venue is Ilorin, Itaeba, Bakata, Ilorin. May Allah be pleased with the deceased, and may she be admitted into the عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. الشيء متى وفي متى الأمر بالمعروف يأمر بالعدل كما شئتم بالعدل سيدنا يقول وسيدنا الإسلام nítorí pé àlẹ́ yìí jẹ́ mùsùlùmí kó lè yẹn gbé ànábì ní àzùlùmọ́ yọmọ ní àmà regardless of the person you have been unjust to lọ́jà ìyá máa ọlọ́wọ́ ní ìwé ní tó ṣàkóso fún kò ní wo ẹ̀sìn márùn sí bí òkè ẹni tó ṣàkóso fún kì í ṣe mùsùlùmí yóò ṣe wí ó lè ṣe wí tí wọ́n bá ṣe àkóso fún ẹni tó ṣe mùsùlùmí wọ́n ní kó gbèsè padà lọ́jọ́ àkẹ́yà. Ẹran ọ̀sìn, àgùntàn tó ń sìn, àgùntàn tó ń sìn, adìẹ tó bá fi pa nípa púpa ewu ni ó pa ọdún sáré. Ewu yẹn yá. Ibi ní ẹran tó wọ́n ní ká máa ṣe dáadáa sí i. Àlàáfíà ká ṣe tó padà bọ̀. Wọ́n yìí sáà ká ṣe dáadáa. Gbogbo ìyẹn ní ìbàjẹ́. Ìgbé owó pọ̀ ẹ wá gbé débi kan ilé yóò tó bí ọmọ sùn ní ọwọ́ àfọ̀kẹ́ ní ọwọ́ ní bẹ́ẹ̀ ká. Fún ayé bí ọlọ́run wo bí wọn náà ti rí ni ṣé wà ìwọ lọ́ máa gbé owó fún yìí? Ọtí ò yẹ kọ́ owó ká. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين اللهم إنك أمن من كل شيء وكل شيء خائف منك وبأمنك من كل شيء وبحب كل شيء منك يا من يخافه كل شيء ولا يخاف من شيء نجنا مما نخاف هذا إنك على كل شيء قدير برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين يا ذا الجلال والإكرام 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 يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم، وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون.